AEW and NXT. We got SummerSlam reportedly being at a new location. We have a Seth Rollins interview we're going to touch on, and some indie promotions being on the WWE Network. But first, let's get into the two shows. We're going to start with NXT this week. Before we get into that, let me introduce my co-host, John. John, how you doing?
As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a very fun show today. Mr. Matt is going to.
So as you can see, I just muted his mic because I don't care. Okay, let's unmute him. Okay, I'm sorry.
Someone is being very cranky this evening, but yes. I'm very excited to eventually discuss about our boy, freshly squeezed OC B.
Wait, did you say our boy?
Our boy. Don't you deny it. He is your boy.
I'll deny it all the way until the day I die. So anyways, but that's AEW. We're going to do that last because we got some rants, one of each of us. Yes. And I wonder what mine is going to be about. But first,
I couldn't tell.
Anywho, let's get into NXT this week. Before we get into specifics, what was your overall thoughts this week of the overall show?
It was an okay show. I didn't think that anything actually happened this week. Outside of that, we got some more clarity on like who the other qualification matches are going to be for the ladder match. But I mean, outside of that, I didn't think that anything was really done. Besides that, and obviously with Karrion Kross and Keith Lee there.
Okay.
But what did you think?
I thought it was a decent show overall. I thought at least the first half hour, I think that was their most fast-paced start to a show they've done in a while. Since competition started, because a lot happened, which was good. And we'll get into the first match. We kicked off the show with Karrion Kross versus Danny Burch, who was one of the people Karrion Kross attacked backstage last week. You saw him in that video. I thought, a decent match for what it was, and Burch got some offense in. But Kross again still looks dominant, as he should be. I think they've done a great job building him up across both companies. I think he's one of the top best built people so far, in my opinion. And then afterwards, what did you think anything of this match? Any?
No. It was just, it went exactly how it should. Karrion just completely just annihilates Danny Burch here. It's more so after the match, which I was kind of torn about this because part of me thought that the whole Fireball thing, it made me recall Hogan and Ultimate Warrior from WCW, where Hogan tried to throw a fireball at like Warrior, and he completely burned off his whole mustache there. So at least it went a little bit better than
I think it went way better than that.
but
To me, the Hogan throwing a fireboard makes like no sense.
Yeah, but also at the same time, it also came off pretty silly, I thought too. But on the other side as well, it kind of fits carrying Cross and Charlotte's character. So I didn't have any issue with it, but
Well,
I mean, there were a lot of people who thought that this was just really stupid. But
like Orange Cassidy winning. Anywho,
Butthurt McGee here.
I'm on the side of what's the
old
word?
man, old man yelling at the clouds, aka James E. Cornette.
He's not yelling at clouds. He speaks the truth most of the time. No, it's I have rationale in my head. But anyways, we'll get to that. We're just teasing the rant. I like the subtle. It would make sense. Scarlett kissing that contract, kind of signaling the fireball. Like it's kind of, you know what I'm trying to say. Like she kissed it, and as he opened it up, fire. Supposedly temporarily blinded Keith Lee. And then he gets helped out, and they show him walk out, and then they do a little JR's favorite picture-in-picture.
JR loves his picture, man.
If I had a dollar every time I hear the phrase picture-in-picture in AEW, I'd be rich right now. Anywho, that's a different topic for a different day. And they do the picture-in-picture. They show them, and then they have Drake Maverick and Killing Dean come out. They do a match, and then eventually Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era come out and just attack both of them. And Adam Cole cuts a promo on Pat McAfee, pretty much calling him out and dares him to show up next week on NXT. So thoughts on after that, the match / Undisputed Era run-in?
This kind of surprised me just because it was so out of nowhere, but at the same time too, I mean, and when Adam Cole cut the promo, I mean, like he comes off so much as a freaking babyface in this feud, and
I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, because to me, I have feel like friends who are diehard Pat McAfee fans, and I'm like, guys, this is freaking trash. I was burying Pat so badly last week on this, so which getting back on topic here, but I liked what Cole said. He shows clearly just how freaking pissed off he is and how much he just wants to just kick the living shit out of Pat. So decent promo here. And poor Killing Dane and Drake, they were just wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. Again, I like how they had Keith Lee go in the ambulance to go off. Right behind that, you had Undisputed Era come, and they walked in on the mission. And then you had the match, and then they came out and just teared just wreak havoc, and I liked it. This is the undisputed era of old. So this was good. Again, I like the promo, and we'll see what happens next week, which is unopposed. Side note, if
I'm very interested to see how they are going to actually do with essentially zero competition now.
Yes.
So.
Same thing with AEW, but they have competition with Takeover. So at least not for the first hour, but so that's going to be interesting, and we'll get into that when we get into it. So after that, Kushida cut a promo. I thought it was a good promo, and then we get Santos Escobar, which I tweeted out on the account is money. He just has a look versus Tyler Breeze. And Escobar hits the Phantom Driver for the win. And then after the match, Fandango comes out. I think he's carrying a stick. It looked like a mop handle, broom handle.
I was thinking the exact same.
I thought it was a mop. I was like, he broke a mop. I was like, okay. And he comes and tries to attack, but then
it's like a moppy from the Attitude.
Okay, Perry Saturn.
That's moppy.
So numbers are still out. They're still outnumbered, so they're getting beat down. And then Isaiah Swerve Scott, who we've seen last about 2 weeks, say he wants a shot, and he comes out and makes the save.
And looks like that is happening on Takeover. I'm going to assume there.
I would assume. I think next week, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 6-man tag.
Yeah,
I believe between Legado del Fantasma and Swerve and Breezango.
Yep.
So we got that. Thoughts on this segment?
Yeah, solid. Solid segment, builds up to eventually with Escobar and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Nothing else to really add here. I'm solid.
He's got the look. Let me tell you, he's just I like that group, and I'm just surprised. I kept saying this last night, unless I totally missed something. They kind of just dropped the Maverick storyline with Santos Escobar.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going, and it kind of just
it's just like there's honestly there's so many other more talented guys, and I feel bad at saying that, but and do not get me wrong, Drake, he's a great talker, but as far as an actual in-ring guy, which especially if you're going to be in a cruiserweights, you gotta freaking go. I would have
been fine if they did it on a Wednesday, and you keep the title in Escobar, and you transition. Maybe then you get the Breezango start thing, and then you get the Swerve Scott. I just don't like how it kind of just went away, because I enjoyed that they had something going there, unless I totally missed something.
No, they just completely just dropped it, which I kind of had a feeling that probably was going to possibly happen.
They had enough build up, which didn't make any sense. It's not like it was just getting started, and then it's like, oh no, we're going to go somewhere else. There was weeks of stuff going back to the tournament, and I don't hear anybody say anything about it, one way or the other. It kind of just fell from existence.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean, yeah, and to be perfectly honest, I want to see more of Swerve Scott. Always
me
felt,
too.
yeah,
But
always
I'm
felt
just
that guy just like had more to actually offer.
yeah.
No offense with Drake there, but it's
But
just I'm just not really interested in him right now.
but
Anyways,
I was interested in where they were going, and I was invested in it somewhat, and for them just to draw, I don't know, I'm kind of disappointed. Anyways, we get a video package for the Dakota Kai about her championship match against Io at Takeover. Um, I I I think I read somewhere, maybe somebody's tweet, I don't know, that she mentioned saying she doesn't need any help to beat Io
yeah,
Shirai. So I'm guessing
yes,
she dropped
yeah. So
Raquel.
basically, she's all alone.
Okay,
She's
why'd
all
you say
alone.
that?
Have you ever seen like Home Alone?
Yeah,
And
but
you're all
I
alone.
don't remember that line. The last time I saw it, I don't even remember. It's been a while.
Freaking commie.
You know what commies wear. Sunglasses with jean jackets.
Says who? Or
Says me.
did you just like make that up? Because you still can't accept that our boy, freshly squeezed, is victorious.
He's lucky one. He probably can't even afford $7,000. Anywho,
He kind of actually said that on Twitter today.
really
Yeah, he kind of hinted at that. He was like,
good. Well,
it was
he's
like,
lucky.
he was like, oh, I I didn't realize how much that that actually was.
And he's a student. He's dumb. How'd he get past math? Anywho, we got a vignette for Rich Holland after. We'll see more of him. Then we get Indy Hartwell versus Mia Yim. I'm week in and week out. Every time I see Indy, I don't
She's got
know.
something.
I'm a fan of hers. She's
Yeah.
she's got something. She's in the infant stage of something. I could see.
She's still really green, but yeah, there's definitely something there. There's definitely something there.
Yeah, it's there.
Mhm.
I enjoy watching her. But anyways, Miriam wins by submission there, and they interviewed her before. She was a little bit emotional because of Keith Lee and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But Miriam gets the win. Decent match.
Yeah.
For the most
Nothing
part. Nothing. Yeah,
nothing really bad here. Yeah.
and nothing bad. I just with Mia. I don't know about you. I just feel like she's kind of treading water.
Yeah. Honestly, Matt, she's been kind of that way ever since that she's been in the company.
Yeah, I feel. Go ahead,
Like honestly, if you would have seen her in TNA, just a completely different person, and I'm not exactly sure what's going on. She just can't seem to find whatever groove that she had over there.
She's one of those people that a call up can help potentially.
Or to me, honestly, I think she would really benefit in AEW's women's over there,
She's
just because
a star, but
just because like she's just so lost in the shuffle right now. So that's
I think she's one of those people that who's an example. The women that got caught up, like
Lacey Evans.
Yeah,
She wasn't really she wasn't really big
she was, yeah, she didn't have any much time at all down there, and they called her up. So I feel like for her, she can. I think it's fresh, so she could do more. And there's other few. It's not as of now on both shows. There's feuds going. It's not just for the title, and she can do something. But like, she's. How can I say this? She is. This is going to sound weird. Before Mysterio came back. So how was that when he leave, like 09 or something like that? Something like Mysterio.
Right? No, that was more of like 2014-ish, somewhere around there.
He didn't leave and come back for the Rumble. We were there. Was there like a gap?
He was there. No, he was there. He was just constantly hurt from that. From like
yeah. So maybe like before that, he was going. He was almost. It's gonna sound weird if I'm thinking this right. Almost, she has almost like the Rey Mysterio effect. Because back then, from Mysterio, he came out. He was kind of in the same boat. I think he was like there, and like when he came out, I was like, like. He's just there. I get this from her, and it's not a detriment to her. Like I didn't hate Rey Mysterio. I don't hate Mia Yim, right? It's just like, where are we going with this? And so
that's the problem. She just doesn't have any direction right now.
No, like she'll be number one. She was in multiple number one contenders and would never win, or she wins, she would lose.
Well, and to like whenever like she did win, you never felt that she was ever in an actual
maybe
serious,
at least for
serious threat. Yeah, to
at least before I think before NXT really got on USA, maybe. I don't know if I don't know how much I really watched, because I was at a time where just my schedule, and I didn't watch regularly on Wednesdays on the network, and then both of us, we would watch the takeovers because they always deliver.
Always can't miss.
Always can't miss. Yeah. So like, maybe before that, I don't know what she really did. Maybe early on when I saw her, maybe I had a shot because I've heard of her and the talk. But now
it's just like honestly, she really just hasn't had anything really that exactly stood out. It was more so of her over on Impact, where she really made her mark, but and everything involved with her, and like Gail Kim over there was really, really good. So that's kind of where
and plus there's just, it's a good problem to have. There's just so many other female wrestlers, women's wrestlers there that are great, that somebody's going to get left out. I mean,
they have cornered essentially every really good women's wrestler is either in NXT, or they are on either Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, and hey, good for them, because the women, for the most part, across all three shows, were like the best
it's
thing.
It's the one thing that is pretty good
WWE
for the most part.
WWE can both. We got the best women's wrestlers. AEW can have the tag teams, but we got
all of this is going to be feeding into my freaking rants as far as it goes with AEW.
Yes. So now next we get a video from Finn Balor giving a warning to whoever wins tonight's triple threat. Either Kushida, Cameron Grimes, or a mystery participant. So he has that. I'll skip that. Then we get Damian Priest versus Bronson Reed.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised that this didn't end in some.
Yeah, or
in some screwy finish. Kind of surprised at that, but at the same time too, I don't think I'm Reed pinning Damien in a fashion that he did really hurt him.
Yeah,
so
I mean, Damien's somewhat established. You're building Reed up, so you don't want him to lose. So I'm totally fine with it. I don't know if both are like kind of faces now because they kind of turned
right.
So you can't have one cheat, but if anybody was going to cheat, it would probably be Priest. Like Priest is kind of like that loaned.
It's a tweener. He's a tweener, I would say.
Pretty much. So I thought this was good. I really like Bronson Reed. He's grown on me for the last couple weeks. This was good. Yeah, and so they're continuing to build Bronson Reed, winning matches. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Good building. I mean, the difference NXT is doing for the most part than the main roster is building people with consistent victories
and yes, winning matches that actually get someone over who they're trying to feature more prominently, which gives you a reason to start to pay attention to him.
And champions not losing.
And champions not losing. God, that, oh man, what they did with freaking Apollo just made no goddamn sense. I'm just like,
oh yeah,
like this.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is why everyone, of your fans, view your like freaking champions as like jokes. Just they should not be losing. I mean, that is the one consistent thing between them compared to NXT and also Dynamite. Their champions do not lose. Like hell, look at like Cody, like Moxley, like Machida, and also Hangman and Kenny. They have spotless records. I mean, like they are established, and that's one thing I really wish that they would take more seriously. But here we are.
Yeah. Then we get a video package. This time with Io Shirai talking about her match with Dakota Kai at Takeover.
I really like this.
Yes,
I really like this.
Io Shirai in the back and just how she talks, like it's just creepy in a good way. And it's just like she comes off like a badass
and extremely confident.
Yeah, like she's
confident. It comes off,
and she's cocky, but she can back it up.
And, like to me, and do not get me wrong, I loved Asuka as champion, but to me, she just comes off way more cool. Than
we talk about Asuka on the main roster or Asuka in NXT.
NXT. To me, I've always and don't get me wrong, Asuka was incredible, but
I can see that.
I just feel like Io she just has a different vibe, and I think slightly more charisma too, and it kind of shows with these things here.
I think Asuka was more. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to say happy-go-lucky. That's probably too much. But she did come off like a badass when the bell rang. But like Io, it's the vignettes, the hair. She just comes like dark, like that dark. I don't want to say emo. That's too strong, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
Like she's just a badass. She's gonna kick your ass, and I love it. These last several video packages with her, there's a couple of them, and she was like underwater.
Right.
It just looks so damn cool. Video package for Cameron Grimes. We'll move on from that. Then we get Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. the lovable loser versus Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez. Right off the bat. Okay, first off, and I say this on the Twitter, I can't take Kaden Carter seriously because even before she tagged with Casey, she would lose. And like that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, when she does her thing on the turnbuckle during her entrance, when she hits it and does this thing, at least this week just looked half-assed.
Are you talking about like Casey or
no, Kaden? Kaden, I say Casey. I mean Kaden.
Because does Casey climb on the
she climbs from the outside up on.
Yeah.
Kaden kind of like
that's
hits
Casey there.
Yeah. Well, I swear I said Kaden. Anyways, we'll be here all day debating that. But she hits the turnbuckle and puts a hand up, hits the other one, and then goes with the music. I don't know. I don't like it. And then Robert Stone cuts a promo and like was just accusing Kaden of being the loser and stuff, and like said a phrase. It got like Kaden mad, and like Kaden looked like the fakest, maddest person ever. It just came off. So like right off of that, I'm just like, yeah, like she's maybe one day down the line she's there, but like I don't see it just yet. So Martinez hits the air raid for the pin on Casey. Yeah. Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah winning, and then after the match, Rhea Ripley comes out. I don't understand why Rhea has to do the whole like entrance thing.
Like it literally, it's like every time, and it looks so fake and so.
It's fine when she comes
unnatural.
Out.
Yeah,
no. When you come out and run interference, or
right.
You don't have to do the whole entrance.
She does it every single time, and like I don't get why she
get it. Like no, it makes no sense.
No, because it's like hey, if you're coming out to kind of like sneak attack someone, you're not gonna have your music have your music going off and doing.
And there was another thing that I can't speak so much for because I can't remember for Dynamite, but comparing NXT and the main roster,
it doesn't happen often.
But I'm just saying how they do it. The main roster, it just seems like most of the time, and maybe exceptions, they bring the music out. But NXT, and I had this in my back of my mind watching it. They had when Fandango came out, they didn't have his music. He just came out. After Rhea came out, Shotzi came out. There was no music, no tank. She just came out to make the save. There was no need to just keep playing music.
No,
it
makes no sense.
If you play Rhea's, okay. Given that, if you did play Rhea's music, okay, fine. You shouldn't have to, but just walk to the ring. Don't stand there. Do the jacket
thing,
look
standing and everything. Yeah,
and stop, and then be mad. Wait, and then walk. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
So that was my thing. So they're fighting. Then Shotzi guns out, clears the ring. So I'm going to assume. I don't think it was announced.
I'm guessing
tag match.
I'm guessing they'll probably have some
Wednesday.
I'm guessing at some point. Yeah,
I was thinking Martinez and Aaliyah versus Shotzi and Rhea. I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen next week.
Yeah,
I don't see why it wouldn't. So we go to. I love these vignettes. I don't know about this one per se out of my favorite, but we go to the home of the Garganos for their.
This thing was so cringe. Like, it's just.
Did you see the other one? Have you seen the other ones?
Yeah, like I haven't been really big fans of them. Honestly, it just comes off just so awkward.
I like this.
Yeah,
I don't think this was their best one they've done. The first one, I think
Johnny, he was having a really hard time screwing in a freaking light bulb. Apparently,
he's distracted.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro! How hard is it to screw a light bulb?
I like how somehow they have blue. Because here on Wrestling, because I'm using their results. They have the thumbnail for the video, and I just like how they have a random blue light in their house.
Yeah, that was kind of weird too.
So it's on the ladder, change the light bulb. I'm trying to see if there's any good highlights. They said, I guess
it was just basically Johnny. He was like building up for his
match against Rich Holland. Yeah. Which I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see that. Yeah. So yeah, that they need. You know what? If I remember, I'll save what I want to say for next week, depending on the outcome of that match. Then we got a Timothy Thatcher training session. Makes people tap like little bitches, which I love.
I'm still mad that for some reason they had him tap out to, of all people, Dexter.
Well, he passed. I think he passed out. I think he passed out. I don't think he tapped.
Okay, for some reason I thought he tapped, but
he passed out. I believe.
Yeah,
I don't think
when his whole thing is being a submission.
He passed out. I'm pretty damn sure he passed out, which is fine.
Yeah.
They announced face off between Pat McAfee and Cole for next week. So we got that. We have Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango and Swerve Scott, like we said. And then 2 second chance qualifying matches for the ladder match. We got Rich Holland and Gargano, and Balor versus an opponent to be determined.
Which we found out, and this shocked me. I don't know about you, but
Velveteen Dream is.
I was stunned by this.
So that was the mysterious third person in the triple threat match for you had Kushida versus Cameron Grimes versus Velveteen Dream. How long? Wait a minute. How long was Dream out for?
For about 2 months.
Okay, so was anything?
So basically, this was I was watching the actual podcast of the guy who was initially reporting that his days were pretty much numbered. Wow, he basically said on his podcast today that basically when WWE did with their internal investigation, they basically didn't find any proof, and pretty much his accusers just pretty much disappeared. So they just had him sit for about 2 months, and they found that there's
I'm saying if it's 2 months and if you don't find anything, I'm fine with it. Heck, Sammy did something.
Supposedly, yes.
Right. Well, as with no evidence, but like Sammy Guevara, I'm just saying Sammy. We saw something? He said something years ago, and
4 years ago. Yeah,
4 years ago. There's proof, and he was out for what? A month.
About 6 weeks. So yeah.
Over a month, and supposedly went to training and not training, classes, sensitivity
Yeah.
classes. So if Sammy did something and Velveteen Dream technically didn't do anything and they just took him off, I'm fine with it. I never had
It
his
was
name
just
pinned
yeah,
as mystery
it was
person because
just
I totally forgot about
yeah.
it.
I just didn't expect him back this soon. Just because all of those accusations were really really bad.
And
And
if you don't find it,
but
if you don't find anything and the accusers don't like continue, like if they
yeah,
disappear, that's
essentially
not
they
for them.
yeah
What
yeah
are you gonna do?
well, and two, they didn't actually have any actual proof because supposedly um basically like from what they could say to on like his defense, he was getting hacked and like stuff like that. So they can't actually physically prove that he did any of this, and they just had him sit out. So, which kind of tells you as well how highly he is viewed in that company because hell, I mean like you saw with those like with those NXT UK guys, and they were like they were gone
Yeah, it's like a
as soon
day,
as
like the next day, gone.
right, yeah, like they were gone with in 24 hours or so after those things.
Yeah,
So
so I don't
and
know.
and also on top of that, with him drinking, he never ever admitted that he was actually guilty. So like on their end, he's like, well, there's nothing that we can really
Yeah, how
condemn him for. Yeah.
yeah,
So
you release him or whatever. It's like then why? If there's nothing. If investigation legit and stuff, what are you gonna do?
yeah, yeah.
So anyways, we got the triple threat match
Mhm.
with Cameron Grimes getting the win, which surprised me a
Yeah.
little bit. But overall, what do you think?
I didn't quite understand that. Like I mean like like maybe it's me, but I don't get Cameron Grimes. I don't get his whole character.
I
It's not really interesting to me.
his character to me is somebody who's cocky and thinks he's all that, but is not. He's just
Yeah.
an annoying person that you just want somebody to get slapped. He's like he's
Well,
he's
and to like
who's a good equivalent? Maybe Sammy. He's got that look that
yeah.
I mean, not as annoying, obviously, but he's just
No.
got that. You want, in this case,
And
you want Hardy to kick his ass.
right. And to me, if you have the freaking Velveteen Dream in this match, I don't know why you don't put him over here
I
unless there is some bigger story
They might do a
that's going to happen. But I
Dream Kushida angle because after the match,
yeah.
Dream like snaps, attacks Kushida, and
Hmm.
then he had a face off. Dream had a face off with Balor, so
Hmm.
that confirmed that it's Balor versus Dream. So
Right.
I can see possibly Balor getting into the match,
Hmm.
maybe with some sort of interference, distraction from Kushida that cost Dream the victory.
Hmm.
Uh, so Balor goes in because just Balor's just they've been building him with the vignettes of going in this match for weeks now. So they
Right.
have that, and then you could still have a Kushida Dream match, probably a
Hmm.
takeover to round out the card, which would
Yeah.
probably be great. And I guess Kushida something depending on how long this goes.
I tell you though, man. If you are Kushida right now, you have to be asking yourself, why did I sign with this company right now? Because man, ever since and I've said this a few times now. Like they have not used him hardly at all. And I don't exactly know why they actually wanted him, other than hey, let's sign someone just to freaking sign them. So.
Unless hopefully this potential dream angle is a start of something. I will see. So that was NXT this week. So let's move over to the Dynamite.
Now the fun
begins. Overall thoughts on the show?
Like a fun show. We got some pretty good build for all that, specifically MJF and John Moxley. But yeah, solid show. But a lot of things I have a lot of thoughts on, and some mini rants as well. I thought
it was a good show. Majority of stuff. I think if I'm remembering correct, because I pretty much just watched it about like an hour before we came on, finished watching. I remember at least the first hour was good. If I remember, we'll get into it. So anyways, we kick off with the Young Bucks versus Evil Uno and I believe Grayson. With
Grayson.
With and I have an issue with something later on in the night based on what happened here. We had the Young Bucks winning with the pinfall.
They kind of buried Dark Order here. If you ask me, just like how they actually had that pin happen, and like it was basically 2-on-1. And
he was. Anyway, thanks for bringing it up.
I was just like, wow.
But Grayson can clearly. It looked like there was plenty enough time for him to break up that pin, if I'm not mistaken, because he was in the corner and it happened. He flipped over. Grayson flipped over or jumped over, whatever, and he was in the corner. And then one of the Bucks, I forget, was it Nick, rolls up Uno. And it seemed like there was plenty of time for Grayson to come and break that up.
It was kind of a weird sequence there. I was like, oh, that was kind of weird, but definitely though, you had to give what this win for the Bucks here. Just
besides that, and maybe a few other things I enjoyed, as I didn't have really much
like a fun match.
It was there. Then we get to Wardlow backstage, pounds on the door, brings up MGF, and then they walk through the hallway.
Did this
the Easter egg
recall when Samoa Joe was the NXT champion?
I totally didn't know until that MGF was in NXT as an extra, and they did. I totally forgot. I
was like,
people posted that. People have great memories somehow of Samoa Joe pushing MGF back in the day when he was a security guard out, and MGF did the exact same thing to one of his staffers who was walking ahead of
Lee Johnson.
Sorry, his name. Is that his name? I didn't know his name. So that was a pretty cool Easter egg. I like that callback.
I like how he's constantly screaming at his secretary.
Got a smile.
He's like, smile.
This time the gum guy was good.
He was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Then we have, since it's Tag Team Appreciation Night, throughout the night there's a couple of vignettes or backstage interviews of tag teams, saying who the favorite tag team is. And of course, Hangman Page and Omega say the Young Bucks, or at least Kenny Omega says.
No. Kenny said that.
Yeah, that's why I said Kenny.
And like Hangman's like,
I was going to say us.
I was going to say us.
It might have, like, of course he would say that, even though there's, better choices. What
a mark.
What a mark for his friends.
Yeah,
so we got the MGF promo in the ring. Baba the Boo gets his secretary to show some poll numbers, with MGF currently beating Moxley 500% to negative 1,000%. I don't know how that's possible, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Heel being heel, I like it. He's winning every state, so that's good. Blue or red, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Then he lays MGF lays down. So
like he was like
kind of like comfortable.
Yeah, like because he was essentially talking about how like or basically laying at how like a Moxley is like constantly politicking and shit, and how much of a cancer he is for the company, and coming from WWE and all. So basically just kind of saying more along the lines from his previous week's promo.
And then so I believe in the next thing, Moxley's music hits, and MGF sends his staff and Wardlow up to the stands, because that's where Moxley comes out. But Swerve,
but not this time. He comes out right from
what a concept.
Gorilla. And he just beats the living shit out of MJF, which man, I'm completely enjoying everything that is going on between these two. And I will say, I have no idea who is going to be going over at All Out, which is good.
At least it didn't need to be MJF.
It's just like I'm just not sure if they're going to actually put him over. I feel like if he does lose, that it's going to be one of his subordinates who just really screw up, and we kind of go more along that. But I also do feel as well that as far as like Moxley and I have been saying this for quite some time, he doesn't have any more challengers. He's beaten everyone else. So I feel like it's probably where they should go, but only time will tell there. And
it's a damn slam dunk, in my opinion. What else? Why delay it? What's the point?
I mean, it also depends as well how this story goes too. So like until we actually know, I will save a future rant for that time. So
I think it's almost guaranteed. We get a backstage interview with Hardy. He's saying he had 13 stitches and he has to take conveniently 10 days off until he's cleared, which conveniently, because AEW Dynamite is on a Saturday next week. And then he's gonna,
I would imagine that they're gonna be having. I would imagine that they're gonna be having some sort of a street fight at All Out. Kind of feels where the story is going
like,
there,
It'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, I mean, especially for how badly that freaking and supposedly he got a ton of heat from that, because he really was really careless here And I feel, this is probably the way that they should go for All Out, and that's kind of what I think is going to eventually happen here. So,
and then Matt thinks he sees somebody who looks like Sammy, attacks him. And for some reason, the referee's wearing a hat and a leather jacket with for him. I don't know why, but
he was cold apparently.
Cold and wearing a hat,
right?
I don't like why.
And like Jacksonville,
why? Yeah, Jacksonville.
Where it's probably 85 or 90 degrees down there.
You have your uniform ref jersey on and you're at work, but you're gonna walk around backstage like that. I don't know. Anywho, we get to what I thought could have been arguably the match of both shows. We get Cody versus Scorpio Sky for the AEW Championship.
With AEW's biggest free agent acquisition since they have started, senior referee Mike Chioda was great to see him here. I am really happy that the company is giving him some work here because definitely referees in this company have been one of the issues, as we know, Matt.
Yes. I guess I thought there was people complaining. I saw maybe one person, maybe I don't want to say people, that this match started off slow, and I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Maybe you're used to people just starting with
God
flips.
Forbid they were selling and trying to tell a story here.
God forbid they do a wrestling match on a wrestling show and not doing flips and everything. I hate people when it starts slow, and then you start slow and you work your way up to the end.
I mean, I didn't have a problem. The only problem it was a pretty good match up until the very end, where it just fell completely flat. And then for some reason, we're doing Brody Lee and Cody.
Okay. And here's the in the tie back what I said earlier, Brody Lee said pretty much that he took out, I don't want to say take out, I don't know, he said he take out the Young Bucks already, but the Young Bucks just beat your people earlier in the night. You didn't take anybody out. They beat you.
Not to mention as well, Cody has not been associated with the Elite in like months. Hell, the last time he was associated with those guys, I can't even recall the last time that they were associated because even for him, he wasn't involved with the Stadium Stampede. I don't think he was involved in that there. So it's like this feels just completely random. Yeah.
Neither was never mind. Yeah, that's besides the point. Like you say the Dark Order beat the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks beat you earlier in the night. That makes no sense. And then like you're gonna win the title and then give Cody the title. So why? I don't know.
I really don't know because to me too, I was kind of hoping one of two things that were going to happen from this match. Either A, Scorpio Sky beats Cody, or two, we finally see freaking heel turn that Cody has been teasing for the last 3 months. Or so that it's felt like, but to end it like that, you felt wanting more, and that's kind of how I felt here. But still, a very good match to me. Scorpio Sky is definitely a guy to keep an eye on. He offers a lot, and I think he can give you a lot, which is kind of just disappointing. how this ended, but a very good title match, easily one of my favorite TNT title matches here.
Mm-hmm. Next match we got the AEW Tag Team Championship, Paige and Omega versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt, which should get strapped to a rocket.
And this felt like a complete waste of time. I don't know why this was even booked. And to put the cherry on top, we got zero build after this. It was just a tag time match that didn't need to actually happen.
The one thing I kind of cringed at was Luchasaurus coming out, going to the camera and going, "It took 65 whatever million years to get a title shot. Hey, mom."
It's a dinosaur, man. It's a dinosaur.
I cringed in response to at the voice of Jim Cornette in my head, which I can't wait until. Can't wait. I cannot wait. But
Makes one of those.
You will listen and you will like it.
I would rather watch a full 3-hour Raw. No, that's painful right there.
You will listen. Strap the rocket to Marco Stunt, and the rocket goes to the sun. Anywho, so not surprisingly, we got Hangman Page and Omega win. And then Santana and Ortiz were backstage with the best friend's luggage. Throw it in the shower. Throw bleach on it.
And
turn the shower on. And
the shower is not even
close. Why the bleach? I don't know what would the bleach and I would do something, I guess. I don't know, but what is happening?
Yeah, I was just like, this was corny. It goes along consistently the last few weeks, as far as Santana and Ortiz here. It's just like I'm getting really sick and tired of the comedy. Ortiz especially, it's really cringy. I'm looking Santana
is the damn star.
Santana, I will never complain about. He comes off always extremely serious, extremely real, authentic. I have zero problem. It's Ortiz who comes off.
What? You tripping?
Yeah. So it's just like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
why
there was that. But I'm guessing that we'll probably see these two teams having a match at All Out here. So
yay. Anyhow, let's go to the Tag Team Appreciation Night ceremony, if you will.
This was fun.
FTR and Young Bucks are in the ring with Orn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and the Rock and Roll Express. They're pretty much putting each other over, pretty much.
And just a slight reminder to Ricky Morton. He's like he's 63. Just so that I can just remind you people that 63 years old.
Everybody's praising each other, which rightfully so.
Until Tully
said, screw this.
It was like, fuck this. No, he was like, you guys aren't champions. You guys aren't champions. You aren't the best at shit. So,
like, screw you. You're not.
And I also love too how Tully, he was pissed at Arn for basically wearing Cody's.
It took him how many months to pay that off?
I'm glad
they referenced it and made sense.
Yeah, also as well, they were also playing homage to Dusty Rhodes and the Horsemen because they were constantly enemies, and Tully, he was kind of annoyed that Arn, he's essentially Cody's lackey, essentially. So I definitely feel like that they are teasing more of a potential new of a new Four Horsemen stable here. Definitely feel, and we finally have FTR as legitimate heels now. I mean, there is zero doubt now. These guys are heels, and that spike pile driver that they put onto Ricky Morton, and he sold that.
He took that like a champ.
I was like, he's 63 years old, and he sold it better than anyone else in the freaking industry right now. Just like it's really amazing. But
I like how Tully's speaking, and then Sean Spears comes out, and Orange is like, you know what? Nope, bye.
Nope. I know what's going on here.
I've watched enough shows. I'm out. And like nobody said anything. He kind of just went off. Like, what the hell? Like, Sean didn't stop him. Like,
and I saw someone who went all conspiracy theorist, who thinks that possibly Tully and like Arn kind of co-opted this with FTR to kind of, yeah. So I wonder.
I would buy it.
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking. I was like, you know what? I could probably buy that. So
buy it because it's just weird how Sean comes out, Arn walks, but nothing happens.
Exactly. Like, it was like, kind of makes you think into the freaking, like, you know, you see a long-term story happening here, Seth Rollins, which I'm going to begin into that column here shortly. But
I got you, but I can't wait.
But yeah, so a very good segment here. And I'm going to assume that this pretty much confirms we are getting FTR versus Man and like Nick Jackson at All Out, because I feel like that there is nothing else to actually do. But at the same time, too, who in the hell is Kenny and Hangman going to face at All Out now, since they've essentially have beaten every other tag team except for FTR and the Bucks. So I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's FTR because they came out. It has to be faces and heel. I think it has to be.
Has to be, especially too when they turned heel like that. I mean, like
I think.
I mean,
no doubt, it's them.
Zero doubt whatsoever.
Backstage, we got Alex Morvez talking to Mike Chioda. Jericho shows up and talking about how Jericho saved his job 18 years ago, and that he should pretty much insinuating to help Jericho win the match against Orange Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but the stained orange jacket looks pretty cool. I kind of like it like that.
I swear it's getting freaking orange, more and more orange every single week. I see.
I'm not an expert on spilling orange juice on my stuff, but I don't think it would stain.
No.
And Jericho, if you have Jericho, if you can spend $7,000 on a suit, I think you can spend the money to get it dry cleaned.
Like, I was like, Jesus, this thing is getting more and more.
Get it dry clean. You can get it dry clean. There's multiple places in Jacksonville, I would say, you can get it dry cleaned and it get it fresh and white. But no,
Tony Khan probably has some pretty good recommendations too, I would imagine. So.
I don't go to the mom and pop thing. Go to whoever they can clean that. That'd be great to get that price tag. Anyways, We got Kiyoshida non-title match against Heather Monroe. That was a match, and Kiyoshida wins by
it happened.
And
Who cares? Who cares about the match here? Okay, so for you idiots out there who think that, like, oh, hey, why isn't this company giving more time for the AEW women? And I ask you one simple question: have you looked at their freaking roster? I don't know, for like the last 6 months, Matt.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: out of the current crop of females that they have, do you think even 3 of them are even ready for TV right now?
Not many.
Exactly. And I've been watching on every Monday with their women's tournament. There's a good reason why they are not having this on TV. Oh my God, these women are really, really, really bad. I mean, outside of Eve Felice, and Ty Conte. I mean, Dasha, she freaking wrestled this past weekend. She is not ready for TV at all, and I'm also trying to also put this into perspective as well. Like, they have so much other things currently on their TV between MJF and like Moxley, tag titles, FTR, Box, Cody and the TNT title situation, Cage and everything going on there. Like, there is so much other things happening, and for how bad that the current division is, until they actually sign some people who are worth a freaking damn, I'm fine with them just keeping the current division as it is. So I don't understand what the fake outrage is when their talent clearly, a lot of them, if not just about all of them, are not ready for television, and it's just that simple. So I mean, unless they are planning on bringing in a like Tessa or just someone who has some TV experience. I mean, hell, man, they had Rachel Ellering on this past week, and she looked awful too. Like, she just looked. I mean, she put on some weight. I mean, like, she just looks out of shape. I mean, it's not been good. And I'm trying to be really nice here, but there is no sugarcoating this. I mean, their division is absolutely awful. And if you are Tony Khan, Cody, and all of those EVPs, why would you even give 10 or 15 minutes segments for these ladies until they give you a freaking reason to devote that kind of time, especially with everything else I'm going on here? What do you think?
I agree. There's not much really going on in that division. You have Kiyoshida in that short of a match just to get her on stuff.
And supposedly to
Britt wasn't even on the show.
No. And supposedly and supposedly Shida is going to be having an open challenge at All Out. I mean, the speculation is going to be starting there. Tessa Blanchard. It wouldn't be the freaking worst idea. I'll say that, because signing her would immediately give me at least interested currently of what is going on, because now, I mean, like, unless your name is Britt Baker or Sheeta, like you really don't even matter. Like Eve Big Swole, I am not really buying her. She's still
I buy her
she's
more
still,
than half the people.
yeah, but still
Yeah.
she's extremely green still, and that's pretty obvious. I mean, like
Mhm.
I mean Anna Jay, she's very attractive, but she is obviously she's still
Attractive is not gonna do you any good.
exactly. And to me, if I'm AEW and just judging on what I've seen so far from like from Ty Conte, she has stood out. I mean, and like she's been good, but man, if you've seen any of those other matches in this tournament that they are having, it's rough, and that's being kind.
And
Like they have a lot of work.
I've not watched a second of that tournament.
You haven't missed much. It's just these women, and you can see why they did not have them involved.
Yep.
on Dynamite every single week.
Speaks
for itself.
Yeah. So next segment, we have Jake Roberts cutting a promo with Lance Archer in the back, the dressing room. Random guy bumps into Archer and then like beats up him, and somebody else is there. And
part of the course with
yeah,
Archer,
and then Archer comes and just like Archer says something like, "Did you tell them?" And Robert's like, "No, I didn't tell them." And so
this was weird.
Archer just rips off his shirt, rips off Robert's shirt, and turns around and it says "Everybody dies" on his back.
I was like,
I don't know why. Why does I don't get it. I don't get why that had to be written on his back.
Yeah,
it's weird. It seemed weird to me. Okay, I'm glad I wasn't.
I'm not gonna try and
explain it. No.
Yeah.
So matches and segments announced for next week. Before we get into the main event here, FTR versus Private Party, the Elite versus Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and Alan Angels of the Dark Order. The finals for the Women's Tag Team Cup tournament thing. Darby Allin in action. We have the Lucha Brothers, the Butcher, and the Blade versus
Airbnb,
Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, QT Marshall, and Dustin Rhodes. And then Cody versus Brody Lee for the AEW TNT Championship,
which, by the way, is going to be on Saturday,
yes,
August
6 p.m. 6 p.m. Immediately following, depending on how the basketball games go, following the NBA playoff game there.
Which by the way, we will probably do both be between that and NXT a reaction show for that. So
we'll probably we'll probably do one maybe for NXT, and then maybe one after takeover for maybe we're not gonna see. We can't do that because we're not gonna
just watch it. I mean, like we just want to
maybe for SummerSlam, the Dynamite reaction.
Oh yeah.
Maybe watch it for SummerSlam.
We can do that too. Yeah,
throw that in after whatever. Yeah. But definitely, there's probably another one for NXT. That's probably going to be one obviously on the shorter side because there's only one show and it took an hour and 19 right now so far to get through two shows, and we have two more. We have a main event and two news stories to get to. So with that being said, we get to the main event. Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in the $7,000 obligation match. If Cassidy loses. He has to pay $7,000 for Jericho's jacket, which he still wears and doesn't get it dry cleaned. With the Best Friends, an Inner Circle band from ringside, which also close to breaking that. You know what? I'll give it to you if you hold that pose the whole rant. Give it to you. I don't know what that means. That's what she said. Okay. Let me preface this by saying, storyline wise, Orange Cassidy winning makes sense. But
and as I told you last week, like, hey, expect him to go over it. And you're like, no, ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna happen.
But with that being said, this little, just based on the character, this pissant beating Chris Jericho, in the words of the ever popular and non-controversial man Jim Cornette.
Old man yelling at clouds. Yes.
It's not yelling at clouds, man. How the fact that somebody whose gimmick is pockets and kicks that wouldn't hurt an ant beat, and when I mean beat, sloppily beat, and that finish was, regardless of what I view about this, that finish was garbage. I think we all can agree on that.
Jericho unbotched that, by the way.
Regardless, it was a terrible ending too.
Yes.
It didn't look good for Orange Cassidy to he won on that garbage. Besides that, that's not the part of this rant. This fucker. This piece of shit. I don't know him personally. He's probably a cool dude. But when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the character, not the guy.
He's very freshly squeezed, if you couldn't tell.
You can shut the fuck up. Jericho should have freshly squeezed his head in like a pimple on prom night. And like,
But he did.
But he did it. Somehow he lost.
Because he's not freshly squeezed.
There's a lot to squeeze. Jericho, he's freshly plump ever since he joined AEW. Freshly plump. There you go.
Well, to play devil's advocate here, man.
There's nothing I should say because I'm a little plump too. So what?
Yeah.
So I shouldn't.
And here, I'm going to be a little bit more rational here because someone here can't be impartial here.
I'm being impartial. I'm being impartial.
You sound pretty butthurt here, buddy.
I didn't lose any. I didn't lose $7,000. I'm butthurt that this is happening.
With all of the build that was happening, and Jericho's his main job is to put over other guys to create more stars.
Why?
And even you,
all the freaking people. Why him? I'm not disagreeing with you that Jericho needs to put over people by all
because he's
him?
one of the guys who they are trying to get over, and that they have been putting a lot of segments devoted to him. I mean, it's clear there are a lot of people who
him over.
I mean, like, I didn't have a problem with it, and two, it made sense because with all of these segments, and two, you are not having a second match between these two unless he wins. So the only bad thing is now
we should never got to this point. I'm not saying that the bill doesn't make sense. I never said that. I'm just saying Why him? He shouldn't be the one. This would be like a good Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy wins. No, you got Polly Pockets over here winning. Why him? Why this goof?
How many times do I gotta tell you? He's freshly squeezed.
Freshly squeezing up your ass. I don't know what that means. Oh,
God, you're not making any goddamn sense. But
I'm not making any.
now,
I'm making.
but now,
it makes sense. But why him? Why does Jericho have to put him over?
Well, you probably aren't going to like what I have to say now, because I have a feeling now they probably are going to be having a third match.
Oh, fuck.
That's probably going to be at All Out. Would not surprise me if this eventually writes off Jericho. Orange Cassidy wins. Matt suffers a little bit more, loses his mind just a little bit more. That's the only thing I'm not really really looking forward to. And up until this point, all two of the other matches have been pretty underwhelming at this point. So it's just like I really don't want to see a third match, but it kind of feels like that they would probably go there just since they are both tied at one now, and with All Out only being 2 or 3 weeks away, I kind of feel that's probably where they're headed.
I'm done.
To Matt's sheer joy and excitement.
Let's move on.
Right there, buddy.
Let's move on. I can't.
All right.
I had a headache before because I was out golfing, and if I'm out in the heat and come in, I usually get a headache.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want that. It was gone, and now it's back, kind of. But let's move on. That was the 2 shows. Let's get into some.
All right. So, do you want to talk about your boy Seth Rollins?
That's my boy, but go ahead. Let's go there.
All right. So, Mr. King of social media here, Seth Rollins again put his foot in his freaking mouth again when he says that today's wrestling fans, and he's right to a certain extent, are completely impatient and cannot take a long-term storytelling. Now,
what's the problem? I'm interested.
Now, before someone so rudely interrupted me, okay, Seth. So we're going to be making more excuses of the shitty Raw and SmackDown writing that has been happening for God knows how long. But hey, it's always what the fans' fault. You tell me how taking out a guy's freaking eye is good storytelling. Please explain that to me there. And I can bring up so many examples of good storytelling in NXT and in AEW, hell, even on the freaking main roster. So I don't want to hear these excuses from him of him being pissed and like a butthurt about the fans not enjoying what is happening on both Raw and or SmackDown here. I don't want to hear it. How about you stop blaming everyone else and just look at it and say, hey, maybe, just maybe we are doing something wrong here that is not connecting with the fans. And I feel like he's just he is a freaking chairman's whisperer to where like he basically spews all of Vince's ideology, and he just expects us to be perfectly fine with that, which no. So
here's wrestling. Here's the stuff. He was on the Gorilla Precision podcast, and so here's the on slow burn storytelling here. In the age of instant gratification, audiences don't have the patience for long-term storytelling. When you can binge watch your favorite series in 2 days as opposed to 2 months, it creates a different precedent for how we intake our entertainment. He goes on to say, we are consuming our entertainment differently, and wrestling is not immune to this shift. We have to adapt as well to keep up with our audience. I'm in my 30s, so I grew up in a longer form of entertainment, but our younger audience isn't wired this way. Right there, as he says it there, I don't see anything wrong with what he just said.
It's not.
If you take it out of the context of wrestling,
okay. If we're taking that just completely out of context,
from the completely black and white of what he said here.
If we're just based off that, yes,
I don't see. That's my thing is I don't see a problem with that. Now I'm not saying that let me stop sharing. That the storyline with him and Ray is great. I am not saying that, or is
it's shit.
I'm not.
I'm saying it's shit.
I'm not arguing the fact that it's not the greatest thing. I think he's right in aspects for the most part that everybody, at least now, and the medium of how we take in entertainment, I think it's right. Based on what he says, black and white, I think he's right. Now, if I don't see anywhere specifically, and even admits that nothing has been perfectly planned out months in advance, and there's been no timetable how things are going to go. He said this too, so that just tells you how there's no thing there or planning down there. So I don't, compared to other things he said in the past, I think this is the least egregious. Even egregious is a strong word. Now, I agree with you with the current story. Like I said, the story of him leading up to the eye for an eye, all that. I agree with you 100%. It wasn't the best. I have no issue there. I just think from what he says, just the quote there, I don't see the issue on that, because I tend to agree on that.
Yeah, it's just like my issue is it's like it comes off to me where like he's saying that any storyline that has like that is dragged out more, fans have zero patience with that, which is completely is untrue. Just because with NXT and AEW alone, there are plenty of examples that we can pull from that and say, hey, fans are really enjoying this. I mean, hell. Like, did you hear any fans complain about from like Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, what, in 2018, when that was a beautiful storyline dragged out for about what, 8 or like 9 months there? You had Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I mean, everything going on with like MJF and Cody, and just like there's so many examples that you can pull to where I view that with context as complete horseshit. But
I think those storylines
yeah.
Look good when you look back with hindsight. I felt like when we're in it, and I'm that you could see some people, if they drag it out and go, oh, they're dragging it, like complaint, like there's some complaints on
everyone's like that for
everything too, and it's like, aren't they just going to have the match, or are they dragging this out? I think in the moment I notice there's complaints about stuff, but when we take a step back in hindsight and we look at the build, And another perfect example, whether you want to say they planned it or not, I don't think it's the point. But Daniel Bryan leading up to WrestleMania 30.
And they didn't, but at the same time too, that was a beautiful totem story there. Like CM Punk too.
In the midst of it, people complain about what's happening, but I think the thing is, you have to look after and say, is it a good story? And I think that's the issue. So there's stuff he said, again, based on just the quote, I agree with for the most part, that it's not just wrestling. I think it's us as a society in this new age, with the cell phone age, everything on their fingertips.
Like social media.
Yeah, social media. And I gotta tie this in too, because I mentioned it too, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. See, I don't know if it's a good example, but I'll take the first night on both of these. I think not last Monday, the one day before, you had the Raw Underground and that stable, just taking specifically the first appearances of those. Retaliations ever since then is you could make comments, but Raw Underground, people either were intrigued by it or crapped on it right away, and I kind of ties in to, I'd like to see where it goes more instead of just crapping on it on day one. Maybe something comes out of it. Maybe they tell there's a story somewhere. Who knows? Again, based on the first appearance.
But also to play devil's advocate too, just within the last year or so, when have they given you a reason to kind of just weigh things out when it's pretty clear that for a lot of these ideas, they don't actually have any idea of what they actually want to do.
I'm not disagreeing. Yeah. I agree, but at the same time, maybe it transforms down the line. They put it together and it works out. We don't know, but that's like maybe. Who knows? But that's besides the point on the specifics of those two segments. I just use those as a example, and my point, I don't know if it's the best one, but I just feel like it's just immediately something happens and it's just nope, done. And I like to give it like the Seth and the Ray stuff when it first started. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes, and then it went to where it went, and then it soured, and so there's enough
retribution. The man is like,
it's falling off. I was intrigued the first thing, and when it first happened, but
the first time I saw them jumping around like goddamn clowns, I'm like, oh.
I was okay somewhat with the SmackDown thing, but then on Raw, when they throw the cinder block, and then they threw the other cinder block through the same broken window, and then they flip the car, and then they're just standing there kicking it. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's pretty clear to Vince, he doesn't have any actual plan for this. Honestly, I think
the people that are supposed to be in it are not the ones that are actually on TV. So,
and two, it's like, God, okay, why? Yeah, I'm like, why should I be afraid of cruiserweights here? It's like unless you have someone the size of say a like Dijak or someone, okay, he's at least intimidating,
which people like they're part of it because he blacked out his Twitter and he something. Same thing with Ciampa, and I guess there's going to be women. So until the reveal happened.
And Ciampa, he would make a lot of sense. I feel.
Yeah.
Now, as far as
yeah, I'm sorry. I would be okay if somehow you have these schmucks doing this stuff, right? And then the actual people, come out and they're like the leaders, right? And they just had some people do their dirty work for them, right? So almost like this is not a one-to-one comparison, but like a Dark Order type of thing. Like the schmucks do that stuff, and like Brady Lee kind of sits back. So I can see.
Issue. Another issue I saw too, Matt, was like they're way too similar with Tozawa's ninjas.
Yeah, people brought that up. Yeah,
I'm like so like that also wasn't helping, and as like we view them as just complete jobbers right there. So
yeah, that's
not exactly.
Yeah, it's not a good planning for there.
No. I would like them to get a little bit more creative with that. Like if you're going to involve some women, wouldn't mind seeing like Shayna Baszler involved there.
I don't know.
Just
on the Raw Underground, I know it could be a Chelsea Green because she hasn't been used.
Chelsea Green.
People mentioned Vanessa Bourne. She might have been one of the.
I really hope not, man. Like she's really green. So
she might have been the ones that they fill in because I think people were saying they purposely made sure you could see female hair attack another female stand-in. So I could see a Chelsea Green because, like I said, she left Robert Stone, and the rumor back then was she getting called up. So maybe a good thing that maybe they didn't just put her in if they didn't have anything for her, like Bianca, like they brought her up, and then Street Profits and Viking Raiders were in that shit show of a feud. So it was almost a saving grace that she wasn't involved in that. So now she's in this feud with Selena and the group. So maybe I would see Chelsea Green, Dominic, and Tommaso. I think
Tommaso Ciampa definitely, especially after
because he can run. I'm sorry.
Especially after Karrion Kross just beat him within an inch of his life there. So
both of them,
yeah.
Karrion Kross basically wrote both of them off. So I would say those two guys are a lock. I would put money on Chelsea Green too, and the rest I don't have a prayers. I don't forget, but we'll see. At least it's to their credit, at least good or bad, we're talking about it. So there's something to talk about there.
We also.
Oh no, go ahead. What you were saying? I think
the same thing. We also had some other news. It looks like for SummerSlam that as per wrestling votes, that we are not going to be having SummerSlam at the Performance Center, and as of now, it looks like that SummerSlam could be taking place in Orlando at the Amway Center, and supposedly going forward, All on TV is going to be taking place there. So I'm definitely happy about that. They're finally getting out of the Performance Center because man, that whole venue was just getting really hard to look at, and that will definitely help out with their shows.
And because apparently they said that place was the Amway Center was pretty much closed for a year. So if WWE can take that over and do that, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be interesting to see how the presentation, even though better, how if they have people or something in the stands. There was rumors of the virtual fans, or I don't know what they're going to
yeah. Supposedly for SummerSlam, they're going to be having something along those lines of virtual fans. So we'll see how that goes. If you have been watching with the NBA playoffs, they have been showing that on the side there. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued. So we'll see how that comes off there. But definitely, I'm just glad that they're going to be out of the performance center because I mean, like, and it's one of the main reasons why AEW just looks so much better. It's outside.
If they can
more
get
spacious.
if they can get like a just I don't know the Raw stage, or at least if they can get the stage there, if they keep it for both shows, I mean, given the circumstances, fine. But it's
Right.
it obviously is gonna seem more normal and just look better. It's gonna be interesting. They keep the same camera angle, which I would assume they would, facing the stage. So we'll see. So that's interesting. At least for SummerSlam on I guess next Sunday.
We can from this Sunday. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be this Sunday. So yeah, and then I think the last bit of news, real quick, as always, is the ratings. John, you have those up?
Oh, actually, before the Matt, want to talk about those
Oh yeah,
indie shows going to the network there.
I believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, that at least the start, I think they're just showing. I don't know if they have everything, but at least they're just showing matches from like the Keith Lee's, the Drew McIntyre's, and showcase their tape library. They have Evolve. They have. I don't have it in front of me.
Progress.
From
WXW, which I believe that is the indie. Yeah, or no, that is like from like Germany. WXW there, which I believe that is the Federation.
Let me see.
Walter, he was mainly based in. So yeah, that's going to be coming, which this had been like rumored for quite some time.
Yeah.
And as like to WWE purchased Evolve, who were like pretty much really struggling through at the pandemic, and this has been something that has been a pretty big topic as well when things do eventually come back, is a lot of these smaller independent promotions. I'm not exactly sure how much of them are going to be really around, just because of like money issues, and on top of that, actually getting talent onto those shows there. So WWE just kind of just swooping in and buying these. Yeah, I mean, like you kind of saw that coming. So.
And ICW. That's another one.
Like a Finn Balor, he was a ton there too.
Progress, England, Germany, WXW, Scotland's ICW. Yeah. So you got the best of Drew McIntyre.
I'm Keith Lee.
He's facing, they say Drew McIntyre facing Ricochet, Gargano, Roderick Strong, Aleister Black, Matt Riddle. Like you said, Keith Lee. He's taking on Timothy Thatcher, Walter Riddle is too, and Dominic Dijakovic.
It's a ton. There's a ton of current guys who they got signed are
UXW, Walter and Thatcher and stuff. Progress. Again, from the British independent scene, you had probably
Osprey too. He's probably all over that. Marty Scurll too. He's probably Pete Dunne.
Mark Moore, NXT UK, Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, Tony Storm, and then the grizzled young veterans.
Tyler Bate too. Yeah, Tyler Bate and and Trent Seven.
See, they also have. It says the WWE Universe will also be introduced to the Underground with Insane Championship Wrestling, ICW, Night 2 of Shug's Who's Party 5. That's
what the hell's that?
He's Jeff Jarrett take over as commissioner for the evening. They have NXT UK's Piper Niven in action too. So,
yep.
So right now the shows there we have on starting this Saturday for Evolve, the best of Drew McIntyre, best of Keith Lee for WXW Femme Fatales Fatal, 2019, and WXW Ambition 11 for Progress Wrestling Chapter 92, and like I said, ICW Shug's Who's Party 5 Night 2. So that's all going to be available this Saturday.
Maybe and the final thing that we will discuss before signing off here is the all important AEW versus NXT ratings report. So from a total viewership standpoint, AEW they had 792,000 compared to NXT's 619,000, and in the all important 18 to 49 demo, AEW did a 0.32 to NXT, who did a 0.16, who unfortunately they did not even chart this week in the top 50. So yeah,
that's for the demo. That's for the demo,
right? And so both shows predictably took a bit of a dive here. I mean, more so AEW, who I believe that they were down like 100, over 100,000.
Yeah, they went from 901. They went from
901
to 792, which was a 12% drop, and NXT dropped 18% to 619. It's weird, the percentage, because it seemed like AEW dropped more, just going 900 to 792, but percentage wise, NXT dropped a little bit more. Both, I mean, demo and overall obviously dropped.
It's going to be very interesting to see what NXT does on Opposed next week. Do they get around like 900,000 or 8 million viewers?
I don't think around a million. I say, I don't know. It's unpredictable because I don't know.
Put it this way, Matt. If they don't do at least,
I was going to say 850.
If they don't do at least that, then that will confirm for a lot of people, and myself included, that a lot of Dynamite's viewers don't actually watch NXT.
I think that's
going to kind of
there's a portion I think that already does that. I almost know for a fact. How much I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know what competition there is, but
NBA postseason and NHL too. Obviously.
I think NBA would hurt more than NHL. I'm more interested to see, obviously besides NXT, how AEW compares, because it's on the weekend,
Yeah, they're gonna tank badly.
Yeah, you do have, and then you have Takeover
right
there, and like, come on, it's Takeover.
if they do 700,000, like if I am Tony Khan and them, I'm jumping for joy. But that's gonna be such.
Yeah, they have a good lead in with the.
It's only 1 week. Yeah, it's only 1 week.
But so they have a couple weeks. Don't they have a couple weeks that they're not on Wednesday?
So it's basically next week. With the following week, and they will be on a like Thursday night that week, and then I believe it's September. It's like the third week of September, which they will also be on a like Thursday that night. So, but yeah, so
we're going to be
which we knew
watching them at the same time. No, we'll get off right before 8. So yeah, so I'm just interested to see how both react there, and overreaction as always on the Twitter, per the usual.
Would you expect anything less?
No, I would like to expect something less, but no. So yeah, as we're closing on the 2-hour mark, I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to talk about. I don't think there's anything left.
Now I kind of know somewhat of like how come Joe Rogan feels after his 2 like 3 hour long podcast.
So I guess with that, I think we're going to end it here. As always, check out our podcast again every Saturday. We're going to have a new episode this Saturday at 3. And then, as always, again, new night Thursday at 7, at least for now. We're going to have this show or reaction to NXT and AEW and any other news in the world of professional wrestling. So with that, for John, myself, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Saturday for a podcast and Wednesday for another live reaction show. See ya.